Nav Bhatia has spent millions of dollars on his love of the Toronto Raptors. Tonight's Inside Story isn't really about the money, though, but more the reason why he's Canada's biggest superfan. Avery.
Thank you, Gord. Well, Nav is a fixture courtside. People across the country know him simply as Superfan. He hasn't jumped on or off the Raptors bandwagon. He is the bandwagon. But few know the motivation behind his very expensive obsession with the sport. Nav Bhatia isn't your typical superfan. He doesn't paint his face nor dye his hair. He hasn't tricked out his walls with sporting paraphernalia. There are no wacky wigs, over-the-top outfits, or body flags. But there's absolutely no mistaking Nav's love for the Toronto Raptors.
This is my addiction. People tell me, oh, you are addicted. My wife says that. Yes, I agree. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't womanize. I only raptorize.
This is Nav's courtside seat. He's been here for every single game since the Raptors franchise was born in 1995. You've become friends with all of the players and coaches.
And the referees.
And the refs.
Oh, yeah. And the referees also. Yes.
And Drake.
And Drake.
But none of that makes Nav a super fan. And to understand what does, you first need to know about this. India, 1984. India, in that time, could cost you your life.
Yes. And it did to so many Sikhs. How many were massacred? Because they were Sikhs.
Nav and his young wife flee anti-Sikh riots for a better life in Canada.
I landed in Malton, got a basement for $350. Bought a first bed for $10 from a street sale.
The man whose religion was the focus of riots in India found his turban a barrier to work here. Even still, Nav managed to go from car salesman to general manager in just 4 years.
The first day I became a general manager, we had 10 salespeople. 8 of them resigned. They didn't want to work for a towel head and a packy.
Yeah, back in the day.
He stayed.
Nav turned the other cheek and kept working hard, climbing the dealership ladder. And then this humiliating moment.
I was going to get my phone repaired, and I was looking the same like I'm looking now, well-dressed, well-groomed. But this gentleman who was sitting there, he said, honey, I got to go, my cab is here.
Many people would have had that experience and felt anger or hatred, and yet you took it and turned it into something different.
I was upset, but I said it's not his fault. It's our fault, our community fault. That day I decided that I got to do something. Even if it cost me too much money, I'm going to do that in order to bring my community and the Sikhs to the mainstream.
And Nav, the superfan, was born.
This is Nav Bhatia, superfan.
On a mission to end a stereotype, Nav decides to start filling stadium seats with Sikhs.
You will see hundreds of turbans sitting there and enjoying the game. Yes, we do look different, we are different, but our passion for the basketball is as much as anybody else. And we can relate to each other through the game of basketball.
He's been doing that for almost 2 decades now at an outrageous cost.
I spend over $300,000.
A year?
A year. And in the last 20 years, you can do the calculations.
This now incredibly successful Canadian. You have plaques from the mayor, the Prime Minister, Maple Leaf Sports. Is so much more than just a Raptors superfan. He is the embodiment of the Canadian dream.
I'm blessed to be in the best country in the world, my Canada. If there is a heaven on this earth, this is the heaven.
Excuse me, my cab is here?
Oh, the 80s.
Where does that, I was talking to you about this afternoon. Where does all that hatred and anger come from? What's wrong with people out there? You see it on the internet, the way people comment on stories or events, how angry people are.
I think, and I think the amazing thing about, I don't think that he thought that this person was trying to slight him or be racist. I think it was a misunderstanding. And I love the fact that Nav talks about taking responsibility and wanting to say, you know what, instead of holding on to the anger that he could righteously have felt, people quitting because they didn't want to work for a man who was Indian, or a Sikh man.
You kind of have to agree with something that he said, though, is that he said it's our fault. I'm not necessarily agree that it's our fault, but a lot of immigrant communities have a tendency to isolate themselves from the general society.
And that's why he's spending $300,000
Trying to get
every
people
single
to-
year, millions of dollars. So there's all
integrate.
kinds of turbans in the stands, and he's the man is just an amazing man.
Yeah, good for
I would
him.
love to hear from you about tonight's Inside Story, any other story that you may have. I am at City Avery.
The Inside Story runs every Tuesday and Thursday on City News. All segments are up on our website, citynews.ca.